Hello, and welcome to SWT English Learning. I'm glad you're here with us today. We're going to explore something that touches everyone's life, no matter where you live or what you do. That topic is money. Money is not just about numbers or coins in your wallet. It's about choices, dreams, problems, and even happiness. And when people speak English, they often use idioms to talk about money. Idioms are colorful expressions that don't mean exactly what the words say, but instead carry a deeper or hidden meaning. For example, if someone tells you, "My rent is sky high," they don't mean their apartment is flying in the clouds. They mean the rent is very expensive. That's the beauty of idioms. They bring pictures and emotions into language, making conversations lively and memorable. So today, we're going to explore some of the most useful idioms about money. We'll learn them step by step with easy explanations and plenty of examples from everyday life. This way, you won't just understand the idioms, but you'll also know exactly how to use them in real conversations. Let's begin with the first one, flat broke. This idiom means you have no money at all. Imagine opening your wallet and finding only dust inside. Your bank account is empty. You can't buy even the smallest things. That's what it means to be flat broke. Think of a student who just finished paying university fees. After paying tuition, buying books, and covering rent, there's nothing left for food or fun. That student is flat broke. Here's another example. A friend of mine once spent all his salary on decorating his new apartment. He bought curtains, a sofa, a dining table, and even some artwork for the walls. At the end of the month, he had nothing left for groceries. He had to borrow noodles from his neighbor just to eat. That's being flat broke. Now, let's move to the second idiom, tighten your belt. When you tighten your belt, you spend less money than usual because you have to save. You cut down on little luxuries and focus only on the basics. Imagine someone whose company reduced their salary for a few months. They can't eat out at restaurants anymore. They cancel their gym membership and start jogging in the park instead. They buy fewer clothes and cook all their meals at home. That's what it means to tighten your belt. I remember a time when one of my friends lost his job. For 3 months, he had to be very careful with money. No cinema, no travel, no online shopping. He even stopped buying his favorite coffee and started making it at home. That's a perfect example of tightening your belt. Both of these idioms, flat broke and tighten your belt, are powerful because they show the real struggles people face with money. And by learning them, you'll be able to express yourself more naturally in English when talking about financial problems. We've already seen how being flat broke feels when you have no money at all, and how you might need to tighten your belt when life pushes you to save. Now let's move on to the next idiom, spend money like water. This expression means someone spends money very quickly and without much thought, just as water flows freely from a tap. The money slips away before they even realize it. Think of a person who gets their salary on Friday. By Saturday evening, they've already gone shopping for new clothes, bought the latest headphones, had dinner at a fancy restaurant, and ordered desserts for everyone. By Sunday morning, their wallet feels empty. That's spending money like water. Here's another example. One of my classmates used to get money from his parents every month for university expenses. Instead of using it for food and books, he would immediately buy the newest video games, go to nightclubs, and eat fast food every day. By the middle of the month, he would start borrowing money because he had already spent his allowance like water. Spending money like water can be fun in the moment, but it often leads to regret later when bills and responsibilities come knocking. Now, let's look at another common idiom, to cost an arm and a leg. This means something is very expensive, so expensive that it feels like you're giving away a part of yourself just to pay for it. For example, imagine you want to study abroad. The tuition fees, accommodation, and travel expenses can be extremely high.
You might say, studying abroad costs an arm and a leg. Or think about technology. Some people love the newest phones or laptops. A new device might be priced at more than $1,000. You can easily say, this gadget cost me an arm and a leg. I once knew a person who decided to organize a wedding in a luxury hotel. The decoration, catering, photography, and music all added up to a huge bill. When I asked how much it cost, she sighed and said, "It cost an arm and a leg." This idiom is useful whenever you want to complain about prices that feel unfairly high. Whether it's medicine, electricity bills, car repairs, or holiday tickets, many things these days cost an arm and a leg. Now, let's continue to another powerful idiom, to live from hand to mouth. This means surviving with just enough money for basic needs, food, rent, transport, but never having extra for savings or luxuries. Life feels like a constant cycle of working, paying, and waiting for the next paycheck. Imagine a factory worker who earns a small daily wage. Each day, the money is spent on rice, vegetables, and rent. There is nothing left for new clothes, holidays, or savings. That person is living from hand to mouth. Another example, a young family with 2 small children may spend almost everything they earn on school fees, groceries, and bills. At the end of the month, their bank account shows zero. That's living from hand to mouth. This idiom shows the stress many people feel around the world. They're working hard, but life expenses keep them trapped in a cycle where nothing extra remains. We've already looked at expressions like flat broke, tighten your belt, spend money like water, cost an arm and a leg, and live from hand to mouth. Now it's time to explore one more exciting idiom. Hit the jackpot. This phrase originally comes from casinos, where winning a large amount of money is called hitting the jackpot. But in everyday English, it's used much more broadly. It means to get very lucky, to achieve unexpected success, or to receive something much better than you imagined. For example, imagine someone buys a small lottery ticket just for fun. The next day, they check the numbers and discover they've won millions. They would definitely say, "I hit the jackpot." But it doesn't always have to be about money. Let's think of everyday life situations. A young graduate applies for many jobs. After months of rejection, one company finally hires them with a good salary, supportive colleagues, and exciting projects. That person might say, "I feel like I hit the jackpot with this job." Here's another example. A woman spends weeks searching for an apartment. Most places are too small, too dark, or too expensive. Finally, she finds a place that is spacious, affordable, and close to her workplace. She tells her friend, "I really hit the jackpot with this flat." Even relationships can feel like hitting the jackpot. Think about someone who always struggled to find loyal friends. One day, they meet a person who is kind, supportive, and fun to be around. They might happily say, "I hit the jackpot when I met you." Food lovers also use this idiom. Imagine walking into a new restaurant and trying a dish you've never eaten before. It turns out to be delicious, and you can't stop talking about it. You might laugh and say, "Wow, I hit the jackpot with this meal." The idiom is positive, full of joy and surprise. It shows that life sometimes gives us moments that feel magical, whether it's winning money, finding opportunities, or simply enjoying something better than expected. Now, when we connect all the idioms we've learned, we see how they cover almost every aspect of financial life. Being flat broke when you have no money at all, learning to tighten your belt when times are tough, watching people spend money like water when they can't control their habits, complaining that something cost an arm and a leg when it feels unfairly expensive, struggling to live from hand to mouth when survival is the only goal. And finally, feeling joy when you hit the jackpot, experiencing sudden luck or happiness. These idioms paint pictures of real human experiences. They're not just words, they are emotions, situations, and stories that many of us can connect to. At SWT English Learning, our goal is to help you not only understand idioms, but also use them naturally in your own conversations. When you practice with these phrases, your English becomes more colorful, authentic, and memorable.
We've explored powerful idioms that make conversations about money sound more natural and expressive. Now, let's put everything together and think about how you can practice these idioms in your daily life. The first tip is to connect idioms to your own story. When you use an idiom about money, don't just repeat the definition. Try to imagine your own life situation. For example, last weekend I bought a new jacket and now I'm flat broke. My phone bill was too high this month, so I need to tighten my belt. My cousin spends money like water every time he goes shopping. That concert ticket cost an arm and a leg, but it was worth it. When I was a student, I lived from hand to mouth every single month. I hit the jackpot when I got a scholarship for my studies. By linking idioms to your personal experiences, you'll remember them much faster. The second tip is to practice idioms in conversations. If you have a study partner, challenge each other to use at least one new idiom every day. For example, during lunch, you might say, "I'll eat at home today because I'm tightening my belt." Or while shopping, you could joke, "This chocolate cake cost an arm and a leg, but I'm buying it anyway." The third tip is to notice idioms in real life. Movies, podcasts, songs, and even social media posts often include idioms. When you hear one, pause and repeat it. Try to understand the situation where it was used. For instance, in a movie scene where a character complains about expensive rent, you might hear, "It cost me an arm and a leg." That's a perfect chance to see idioms in action. The fourth tip is to create your own examples. Write sentences or short stories using idioms. Here are some fresh ideas. A young traveler who spends money like water on souvenirs. A family who has to tighten their belts after buying a new car. A student who feels flat broke after paying exam fees. A worker who complains that their daily transport costs an arm and a leg. A farmer who lives from hand to mouth during a difficult season. A singer who hits the jackpot after their song goes viral. These mini stories will strengthen your memory and give you confidence to use idioms naturally. Finally, remember this. Learning English is like managing money. If you practice a little every day, your language savings account will grow. At first, it may feel slow, but step by step, your skills will increase. And one day, you'll feel like you've hit the jackpot with your English. So keep practicing, keep smiling, and don't give up. Even if you feel flat broke with your vocabulary today, by tightening your belt and practicing daily, you'll soon spend your words like water in fluent conversations. Yes, learning takes time, but the reward is worth it. Thank you for joining us here at SWT English Learning. I hope these idioms help you sound more natural, more confident, and more expressive in English. Use them, enjoy them, and make them a part of your everyday speech. See you in the next lesson, and may you always hit the jackpot with your English journey.